You're watching the news at 10, reaching you live from our station here in Lagos. Let's quickly shift gears now as we take you to our Abuja studios, where Linda Agigbe is standing by to take us through. Linda.
Hello, Gimba. Good to see you and welcome to the nation's capital. And Gimba, I must say the fuel situation is still biting hard in Abuja. Now, a federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to the former Chief of Defence Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, in the sum of 2 billion naira and 2 sureties. Justice Okonabang, in his ruling, held that the 2 sureties must provide a bail bond of 1 billion naira each and also be owners of landed properties in any part of the Federal Capital Territory. The sureties, according to Justice Abang, must provide original title deeds of their landed properties along with 2 passport photographs with sworn affidavit. The former defense chief is standing trial on a 10-count charge of money laundering, corruption and criminal breach of trust. Justice Okon Abang has fixed the 14th of March 2016 for commencement of trial. Many have endorsed the anti-corruption fight of the present administration, but for some other Nigerians, how this effort can be sustained is also a matter of concern. To this end, participants at a forum in Abuja today canvassed the establishment of a special fund to drive the anti-corruption policies of the Buhari government. They also suggested the setting aside of some percentage of the recovered proceeds of corruption for this purpose. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
To please...
A convergence of civil society organizations, government agencies and well-meaning Nigerians on Abuja to discuss the way forward for the anti-corruption effort of President Buhari's administration. The organizers of the event say it is not enough to praise the government for its efforts, but that there is also the need to drive support for the government's efforts through funding as a way of sustaining the fight.
If we're going to have anti-corruption risk assessments done, if we wait for only governments to do it, how many sectors are they going to do? How long will it take? We can't wait for that. 4 years will be gone and we won't have recorded sufficient progress. But we can start to do something.
Chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Corruption, Professor Ise Sage, says even though government should be the major sponsor of the anti-corruption fight, there is a need for a public-private sector partnership. He makes a proposition of how this can happen.
I would like to propose that a small proportion of the proceeds of crime recovered by each anti-corruption agency should be allocated to that agency for the funding of its activities. In this regard, I would like to suggest that the figure of 5% from the proceeds of crime thus recovered should be given to that agency.
Other participants make more suggestions.
Having a trust fund led by the government is actually a very good idea. And the trust fund will not only fund anti-corruption agencies, but should also explore supporting non-state organizations and not only deal with issues of vertical accountability, but as well as horizontal accountability, some of the elements of which have been mentioned.
We should have in place as part of the trust fund that is being recommended, maybe we should have what we call corruption tax, so that as we make tax deductions, people will continuously be reminded that we are making contributions towards fighting corruption, and that money goes straight to that fund.
The consensus at this event is that the anti-corruption war must be owned by all Nigerians. They also agree that there needs to be systems and strategies in place to ensure that all persons know their role and play their role adequately. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
The havoc wreaked in the wake of the attack by herdsmen on Agatu local government area in Benue State remains fresh in the minds of the people. Even now, the residents say they fear more attacks given the presence of the herdsmen around their communities. Our big story tonight examines the impact of the recent violence in Agatu, just as the parties in the dispute continue to trade blame regarding the cause of the clash.
The aftermath of a clash between farmers and Fulani herdsmen in Agatu, Benue State, over grazing land. houses destroyed, clothes and foodstuff litter everywhere, lives lost and residents displaced. A community they call their home is now deserted. They are forced to move to another area where it's safe, the IDP camp in Akba. One of the survivors, a nursing mother with a 3-month-old set of twins, lost her husband to the attack and now lives with no one to help.
We were displaced from Ayla in Agatu local government. These babies are just 3 months old and I cannot afford milk to feed them and shelter to protect them from the bad weather.
What could be responsible for this crisis? A question the Agatu community and Fulani herdsmen will have to answer.
They came through a weapon, descended on people at a proper training, mourners. They were there burying people. They stormed the place, killed the mourners. They visited Utwolu. So many people were killed.
We have been living with the Agatu people for decades of years, for a number of years, without having any problem. The only offenses a full animal will commit is only to allow his cows to destroy somebody's crop. But, sir, we are here to tell the truth. The security agents are here. We have security agents in Nasarawa State and we have security agents in Benue State. All of them are aware of what is happening in Benue and Nasarawa.
The Victim Support Fund, an initiative of the federal government, is in Agatu. The executive director is astonished at the level of destruction.
What I have seen thus far is very comparable to the damages that Boko Haram caused in the northeast. I have seen how many villages completely razed down now. I have seen many villages where there is not a single life, not a single soul walking around. This has been total destruction of a number of communities. It's a very, very tragic and sad situation.
All through my life, I've never seen this type of destruction. And government urgently needs to mobilize soldiers and mobile policemen to these communities. Dead bodies are littering the roads, and these invaders are still very much around. Their cows are here, they are just hanging around the bushes. It's highly, very, 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 very bad that up till this very moment, soldiers are not on ground in Agatu, in all these communities, the affected communities. It's disheartening. A lot of people have died. Now we have other problems, these humanitarian problems, a lot of IDPs. Something needs to be urgently done.
The state government says it's concerned with the present condition of the people. The displaced are in dire need of material help.
You can see the magnitude of this crisis is of unimaginable proportion. And something seriously has to be done almost immediately to alleviate the sufferings of the people.
The Fulani herdsmen attacks in Agatu and other communities in Benue State have gone on for too long to warrant a definite policy action with a permanent solution to the crisis.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Gimba.
Brilliant. Linda Gigbe from our Abuja studio. The Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, has commenced inspection of some projects ongoing in various parts of the state. While monitoring the progress of the major road, the governor says that the projects will improve security and the socio-economic sectors of the state.
Governor Willie Obiano and his inspection team at the site of the installation of street lights at Nofia Market Axis. It's a project, the governor says, will involve installing 150-watt LED energy-saving bulbs covering a 48-kilometer stretch.
Here this afternoon to inspect the ongoing installation of electric poles that will carry electric poles on the streets that will carry 150 watts LED bulbs. We are doing this from Oka to Mbo, a stretch of 48 kilometers in the first phase. Then we'll from Mbo to Onitsha for second phase. In This will improve night activities on the streets and security arrangements here. So I'm very happy to be doing this.
From Nofia, the governor and his inspection team head for Aguleri Uno, from where the journey to inspect the 47-kilometer road will begin. He catches the attention of some excited women. The journey, which follows the newly graded road from Aguleri Uno to Aguleri Otu, began where heavy machines are at work to fix the road badly affected by flood. Satisfied with the pace and quality of work, the governor's next stop is Agatu, where he fraternizes with students and other members of the community who turn out to welcome one of their own. Governor Obiano continues with road inspection projects while explaining that his vision is to link up all parts of the state and improve the social well-being of the people.
This longest road we are doing, 47 kilometers, we just pass through them. Through it will clearly bring a lot of development to this place.
And then it's back to Oka, the state capital, where the inspection tour rounds off at the ongoing flyover project, with an assurance from the contractor that it would be completed by the end of April.
Time now for business news on the news at 10 with Emana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. The restructuring of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is expected to be a game changer for the oil and gas industry. This is the view of FBN Quest Head of Energy and Natural Resources, Rolake Akinkugbe. She believes this reorganization will, among other things, improve the profits-generating capacity and transparency of the state oil group.
Over and beyond revisions to the existing NNPC Act, this is probably one of the most radical steps of reform. When you look at the base we're coming from, possibly not radical in the sense of what the PIB is proposing, and we know that's a legislative process, but certainly in terms of there's some thinking about NNPC becoming a commercial-like entity, maybe mirroring some of the work of its peers around the world. If you look at some of the other emerging market national oil companies, the likes of Petronas, Petrobras, and even some in the OECD world, such as Statoil, I think there's a sense in which the government recognizes that NNPC is on a journey, and in order to get to its destination, there's certain hard decisions that need to be made, but it also recognizes the need to carry on all the other stakeholders, over and beyond the unions. All of us Nigerians are stakeholders because it is relevant to our everyday life.
Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has assented to the 2016 budget. Speaking shortly after signing the budget in his office at the Government House in Ilorin, Governor Ahmed emphasized that the budget would be implemented with a bulk of resources coming from the internally generated revenue. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Ahmad Ali, called for a 70% minimum implementation of the budget.
Reliant on federally allocated funds, and that reliance has demonstrated that it is not a planning outfit for you as the state. You require to have control over your own resources. That is why the bulk of resources that are expected to drive the 2016 budget will be coming in from internally generated revenue.
This is a challenge to our board, to our revenue agency. It's a challenge to our commissioners that whatever amount that is given to them, they should operate at 70%. 70% is the minimum. In fact, the same should be Kwara State 70%. Once we achieve that 70%, I think Kwara State and Kwaras will know.
Well, that was the Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Ahmed Ali, speaking on the 2016 budget for the state. Moving on, Africa's largest tower company, IHS, has agreed to buy its Nigerian rival, Helios Towers, for an undisclosed sum. The Mobile Telecom Infrastructure's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Issam Davis, says the company will acquire 1,211 towers spread across 34 of Nigeria's 36 states. IHS will acquire the full control of the entire issued share capital of Helios Towers, its underlying business, as well as market independent infrastructure sharing services to mobile network operators and internet service providers in Nigeria. IHS already has about 23,000 towers across Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Zambia and Rwanda, but its biggest market remains Nigeria, with about 15,000 towers spread across the country. The deal is expected to be reached in the second quarter of 2016. And the bulls had the day at the end of trade on the floor of the Nigerian equities market. When the close tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Transaction volume from the Nigerian Stock Exchange stood at 310.6 million shares, valued at 2.05 billion naira and exchanged by investors in 3,010 deals. The key index gained 0.15% to close at 25,923.77. The market's capitalization closed at 8.9 trillion naira. On the gainers table, Tiger Brands moved up by 9.69%. It was followed by Awando with 9.46% and Honeywell Flour by 8.86%. On the decliners table, AG Levantes and Cavotine dropped by 5% each. Union Bank also dropped by 4.52%. On the top trace chart, bank stocks took the lead, as shown in the shares of Fidelity Bank, FCMB and Zenith Bank. That's it on the Stock Market Report. I am Bolaji Akumale.
Well, the bulls and the bears had their fair share at the end of trade across the global markets. Let's take a look. And that's our package on business news tonight. Very many thanks for watching. I'm Imana Amawe. The rest of the broadcast continues shortly.
You first. First Bank.
In commemoration of the World Glaucoma Week, Pfizer Nigeria, in partnership with Guinness Eye Centre, is supporting the Glaucoma Patients Association with free eye screening. Eye care specialists attended to over 300 patients. Almost 100 new cases were diagnosed.
Glaucoma is the disease of the optic nerve and the second common cause of blindness after cataract. With over 8 million cases of blindness resulting from the eye infection globally, World Glaucoma Week aims to help create awareness against the danger. At the Guinness Eye Centre in Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Pfizer Nigeria is engaging ophthalmologists, optometrists and eye care workers in a free eye screening exercise.
So the reason for the week is to try and create awareness so that a lot of people would know and then do something about it, see the ophthalmologist, start treatment so that we can prevent the blindness that may ensue.
Glaucoma has no cure, and so many people they don't know that they have glaucoma. It is when they come on a free eye screening like this that you discover that they have glaucoma, because glaucoma has no sign.
Within 2 days, the specialists detected 96 glaucoma cases out of about 350 individuals.
We've done the basic eye tests for them to check their intraocular pressure, to look at their disc, and also to do pachymetry to check those basic tests for them. And the main thing we do we start them on eye drops medication, and also for them to be followed up in our clinic.
5.02% of Nigerians above the age of 40 are currently affected by glaucoma. But ophthalmologists say the cause is still unknown.
It's been researched severally, and nobody knows why people who have it. We do know that there are some factors that if you fall into that group, you're at a higher risk of getting the disease. For instance, those who are like over the age of 40, once you are advancing in age, you are at a risk of getting glaucoma.
Glaucoma Week is observed annually between March the 6th and 12th. The awareness-based exercise aims to reduce the 2.3% lifetime risk of glaucoma in every individual.
And still ahead on the news at 10, Latvian scientists and inventor of meldonium say that the drug should not be on the list of forbidden doping substances. That's the sports news. Stay with us.